Hello and welcome to the software engineering class using AI. And this is the third class. So if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So in this series, we'll be talking about building software with AI. We have gone through the fundamentals of software engineering, and the second class we talked about um, software and hardware communication. So in this class, we'll be taking the foundations of software engineering. So in the building softwares with AI series under software engineering using AI, we are taking the first class, which is the foundations. So we'll be talking about what is building with AI actually means. So that's what we'll be describing more in this section of the full course. So it is beginner friendly introduction to AI assisted development. So this particular class we will be learning about the beginner friendly interface so that you'll be equipped with the right knowledge to build with AI. So in today's class, we'll be learning what does building with AI mean? So AI assisted versus traditional development. Then key concepts, that is, we'll be learning the LLMs, which stands for large language models. We'll be going through this, prompts, context window, and tokens. Then the third one, we'll be talking about the tools landscape, that the chat AI, coding agents, IDE, copilots. So we'll be talking about all this. Now, we'll also be talking about strengths and limits, what AI is good at and where it struggles. And then we'll be taking hands-on setup to get every tool ready for the next class we'll be taking. So by the end of today, you will understand how AI fits into building real software and have every tool installed for class 2. So we'll be moving on. So traditional coding versus AI assistant development. Um, Traditional coding, what it entails is you write every line of the syntax by yourself. Learning a language takes months before you are productive. So you have to learn a particular programming language for months before you become very productive uh, building with traditional coding. Looking up docs and stacks overflow to solve problems. So you have to look at different documentations and stacks overflow to solve problems. Sometimes a very simple problem, you have to go through large volume of documentation. So and lastly, for the traditional coding, the progress is slow while you learn fundamentals. So the progress seems to be slow. Now for the AI assisted developments on our right hand, you describe what you want in plain English. AI generates working code that can run immediately, and then you focus on your ideas, structure, and problem solving. So the good thing about AI assisted development is that you focus on the ideas, structure, and the problem solving logic of that particular application or that particular tool you are developing, while the AI worry about the tools, about the coding. Um, Progress starts on day one, and then fundamentals comes alongside. So you progress real quick from day one. You start building, and then you can now bring in the fundamentals later on. So looking at this, why should you lean towards AI assisted development than traditional development? Traditional development seem to be very slow. Yeah, progress is slow, and then to solve a simple problem, you have to go through um, large volume of documentation and stack overflow, and it takes months to learn a particular programming language, and it takes time also to write every syntax by yourself. Now, in this generation, we are looking at solving the problem of time and space. So, as a software developer who seem to solve problem of time and space, you must be able to deliver your job real quick. That is why most developers are leaning towards AI assisted development. So, because it's simple, you describe your what you want in plain English, the AI worry about the codes, and then you focus majorly on your ideas, structure, and problem solving logic. And then you find out that your progress starts from day one you begin the project. Key concepts. What is LLM? LLM stands for Large Language Model. Is an AI system trained on massive amounts of text, including code, that predict what comes next, letting it write, explain, and reason about the software. So the job of the LLM in this assisted programming is it thinks and goes through the data. It is called data models that it has been trained with. So it goes through all the data sets that it has been trained with and predicts what should come next and writes it down, and also be able to provide explanation of the code or the response it has generated. So it doesn't work on its own knowledge, it works on a pre-existing knowledge that was used to train it, which are called the data sets. So we'll talk about that when we are going into machine learning. But for now, the LLM examples are the popular ones, the Claude AI, the ChatGPT, and the Gemini. And these are good for programming in today's development era. So think of it like an incredibly well read collaborator who has seen millions of examples of code and writings. So you should think as it think about the LLM as a collaborator who has seen millions of codes and writing, and then with these millions of code it can draft, explain, or debug on request. So when you request, it uses the examples it has seen, the data sets it has had to draft, explain, or debug on request. So it doesn't know things the way a database does. It generates the most likely helpful response based on patterns. So it doesn't know the way a database does. A database know this table belongs to this and this belongs to this, and it knows it for sure. But an LLM doesn't know. It only uses the available data it has been trained with to predict the next outcome. Key concepts you will use every day. Now, the prompting. The prompting. Most people see prompts as just writing basic requests. We'll be going into prompting in our next class very deeply. So, prompting is the instruction you give the AI. Clear, specific prompts get better code. So, there are segments of a prompt. Now, this is very important because what makes a difference between an AI assisted engineer and another AI assisted engineer is how rich and detailed the prompt is. So there are segments of prompts. There is identity role, there is context role, there is who for and whom to and why. So we'll be explaining this on the next class. So if you are new to this channel, once again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So prompt engineering goes way deeper than writing a simple text in your chatbot. into your chatbot. So it has to do with structuring your prompt, engineering your prompt. And of course, before you get into prompt engineering, you must have gone through um your entire software circles. They have the planning phase. Yes, you must have planned out your software very, very well, and you know what you need. You must have planned out your logic and your algorithm, because it is during the prompting you will provide those details to your AI tool, and then it generates for you a quality code. So, having said that, also we have the context window. Now, this is how much text or conversation plus code the AI can see and remember at once. So the context window is like, should I say, is a phase of interaction with the AI. So it has to do with the conversation and code that AI can see and remember at once. Yeah, at once. Sometimes when using the AI tool, you can see sometimes it will say merging context. So it's trying to merge a previous context section with the current one so that it can work together. You see this most especially when you are using Claude Code for your development. So you can see something like merging context, and then it is combining the previous context section with a new one so that it can remember all the conversations and code it has written before. This helps the tool um to have continuity. It helps the tool to have consistency in the development, because this is AI. You don't expect it to remember for a very long time. You understand? So it has to keep a context window. Now, some tools don't have this inbuilt. The way I do my context window for each development, for each pulled request, and the response is provided, it logs it in to a particular document for me, so that whenever it has lost context, I will provide that particular document for it to go back and see what has been done and what has not been done. This helps the AI to keep continuity and consistency in the workflow. This is very important. This is very, very important, because when you use the AI for a very long time, it tends to forget the original request. It tends to forget the original vision. It tends to forget the original features you asked it to build. You understand? So whenever it forgets, you end up building a software that is outside what you expected, that is outside what you actually want to build, or outside what your clients have requested for you to build. So it is very important to keep a context with it. So some AI have this inbuilt and some does not, and you won't know until it starts missing context. So you just, is advisable, even if the tool has context inbuilt on it. So it is very, very possible. It is advisable that you also follow my flow by having a document where it saves all pulled requests and everything it has done and what has not been done and what we are moving forward to. So the next one here is token. A token of text, roughly three-quarter of a word, the unit AI reads and what and writes. So a token is the unit AI reads and writes. So if you are um on a paid version of your tool, so your credits are calculated by tokens. Your credits are calculated by token. A token is a chunk of text, roughly three-quarter of a word. So it is the unit the AI reads and does what and writes. So most times your credits are calculated per token or per sets of token. You understand? So this is also important when you are generating workflows with your AI, because you won't want to use a very long and unnecessary words in your prompt, and then you end up wasting credit, because your credits are calculated by tokens. So the more tokens you use in your prompting and your conversation, the more credit you spend. You understand? So it's better to keep your prompt specific, detailed, and direct. So you don't need to use repetitive words or explain yourself casually. So it is better you work on your prompts very well, so that your prompts can save you a huge number of tokens. The tools landscape. Now, we'll be talking about what tool is best for which right here. So the tool landscape, we have the chat-based AI. Now, the chat-based AI is conversational tools you use in a browser to ask questions, generate code snippets, and plan, like the Claude AI on your browser and ChatGPT. These are chat-based AI. They are used for conversation. They are used for conversation, and yes, conversation in general. So the conversation can include generation of code snippets and asking question or planning a project. So when you want to plan your project, you should use the cloud-based Claude AI and ChatGPT, or any chat-based AI models outside there. But Claude AI and ChatGPT, most especially Claude AI, is good in breaking down things for you to understand. But ChatGPT works on the analytics, the technical workflow. So if you need a technical planning, use ChatGPT, so that you will have to plan out your software. Of course, you have to plan out what you're about to build very, very well before going into production. Then we have the AI coding agents. They are tools that read, write, run code across a whole project on your behalf semi-autonomously. So these coding agents, they run the entire project. They are like a collaborator. They are like a collaborator. You just plan it out, get your prompts, and input your prompts with your plan. It reads the prompts, it reads it, understands it, and then write your response. Most of the time, before it goes ahead to write, it asks you question to understand what you actually want to build. So when you now respond to those questions, it goes ahead to write and then run the code across the whole project. So it runs the entire project or tests a particular segment of the project. The coding agents also helps in debugging. So it runs, and it can even it runs command on your PC and helps you install dependencies that are not available. So it works semi-autonomously. Why it is semi-autonomously is that you need to approve any action it's about to take. If not for that particular restriction, which is good, I would say AI coding agents runs autonomously. Once you give them the instruction they need, they will run autonomously until the project is completed to the final stage. Understand? So it is semi-autonomous because you have to approve every action it needs to take. And coding agents there are cloud-based or browser-based coding agents like the Lovable AI, the Bolt.new, and then this hosting new coding agents. So there are tons of coding agents. So the examples provided in this class is a Claude code which can run in your VS code. Yes, it can run in your development environment, in your VS Code, Claude Code, the Devin AI also, and also this Open AI model for coding, Codex. Codex also is a AI coding agent. So these runs the projects from scratch to top. You can have an empty folder for your project and then give the instruction to any of these tools. They go ahead to create that project for you, run them, test every section of it, run the unit testing, run the integration test, and then run the entire deployment test, and even help you push to production. The next one is the IDE copilots. This is majorly for is an AI built into your code editor that suggests and completes code line by line as you type. So it doesn't type for you autonomously. What it helps you to do is to suggest the next code in the line of code you're writing, or suggest the next line of code, or help you complete it, or help you automatically correct where you are missing a colon or a semicolon or any tag of that particular code you write. So examples are the GitHub Copilot and Cursor. So this is an example of IDE Copilot. Now I will take the importance of each of these AI tool landscapes and then we move to the next. The chat AI, it is very important because it narrows itself, it focuses on chatting, um, question answering, and planning, most especially planning. So it is very important for planning your project. I won't advise you to plan your project on your own. Get help from this chat-based AI because they have billions of data sets that they can use to help you plan out your project, and it is very, very, very productive. It is very productive to use them for your um project plan. Now you plan it, they give you like what I do, I use ChatGPT. After planning, it gives me where is possible and what is not possible yet, or it also tells me how I can go about this. If even business logics, I use ChatGPT to do that. Also, what is important about the AI coding agent is that you just have to give it the instruction and sit down to approve every other thing. So you can work as a solo developer. You don't need so much people on your team. That is the importance of AI coding agents. So you don't need so much people on your team. You don't need to hire 10 people to build a particular project. You just sit down with your coding agent and it builds it for you. It builds the projects for you. All you just have to do is relax as a CTO and continue. You can find out that in months you've built like up to 5 different softwares when you are using AI coding agents. Now, the IDE copilots are very important because when you sometimes you need to type your code, it's not a must that you need to write code. So sometimes when you have to do it, it helps you correct, it helps you make correction. Okay, before the coding agent came out, a developer can write up to 3,000 lines of code and then encounter error. And during a long hour of debugging, like 3 hours of debugging, you find out that it's just a missing colon, or a missing comma, or a missing tag, and you have wasted an entire 3 hours. But this IDE Copilot, what it helped was to help reduce that delay, that error that will be caused by a very small missed syntax. You understand? So these landscapes are very important to grasp and know how to use them. You don't use your AI coding agent for planning and waste your tokens. So now, what AI is good at and what it's not good at. Most people think of AI as the god of technology, is perfect at every side. Yes, the technology is improving, but then there are aspects where AI is good at and where it's not good at. So we are going to take where the AI is good at so that we'll be guided during our development. Now, the first one is writing boilerplate and repetitive code quickly. It's very perfect for that. It writes boilerplate and repetitive code quickly. It's good at explaining unfamiliar code or error messages in plain English. So sometimes when you encounter error in your program, the AI is good at explaining to you those errors or unfamiliar codes in plain English that you will understand what is actually wrong with the program, why it's not running, or why you are encountering such errors. So it explains everything for you in plain English, like is talking to a human friend. Now, it's also important, it's good at suggesting multiple approaches to a problem. Like I said, using it to plan your business logic, using it to plan your project, it suggests to you multiple approaches to a problem. So when you use these AI tools, it suggests to you what you should do and tells you what is not possible at the moment for you, and also tells you what is good for your business and what is not good for your business. AI is good for at scaffolding a new project structure in second. Like I said, when you have an empty folder and you ask an AI to generate or to build a project on that folder, is good at scaffolding the new project structure in seconds. It will scaffold the entire project structure. So this is a beginner's class. So scaffolding is actually laying out the directories, laying out the folders for every phase or section of that particular or unit of that particular project. So AI is a speed multiplier. AI is at its best turning a clear idea into a working first draft. So it turns it into a working first draft fast. The clearer your idea, the better the draft. So it's just like the old term garbage in, garbage out. The clearer your idea, the clearer the prompt, and the more detailed your prompt is, the better the draft, the better the result the AI gives to you. Where AI still struggles till now, it struggles as understanding your unstated business logic. Like I said, you need to plan out your business logic first and then give it that particular information, the entire information in detail, in a detailed format for it to grasp and understand your entire business logic. So any logic that is unstated, it will find it difficult to understand. It will struggle to understand it. Now, the next thing it struggles as is catching subtle bugs without being asked to check. Now, until you ask your AI to check for bugs, it will not catch subtle bugs. So there are bugs that it will catch, but now the ones that are very little, very subtle, it will not catch it, like security risks. So until you ask the AI to check, it will not catch that. Knowing about every recent tool, libraries or release. So AI is only working, like I said, with the data set it has. It's only working with what is provided for it. It doesn't work outside what has been given to it. So when it's outdated on the knowledge of recent tools, libraries or releases, it struggles in knowing them. Now, making architecture decision with long-term trade-offs. So it struggles in making architecture decision with long-term trade-offs. Replacing your judgment on what correct means for your app. So sometimes you tend to argue with the tools. Yeah, when you say this is not correct, this is not how I want it, it struggles with replacing your judgment on what you say is correct, on what you say you want for your app, right? So it tends to work with what it thinks is correct. So that is a struggle for AI. Your job doesn't disappear, not that you are still the one deciding what to build, checking if it works, and knowing when the AI got it wrong. So don't think as a developer that in time, in future, your job will be replaced with AI. Of course, AI will be doing the job, but there is always the human layer in software development where you have to check, where you have to direct the AI tools to do the actual work, and then testing if it's actually good, because at the end of time, at the end of development, because at the end of the development, it's still a human that will use that particular tool you build. So there is there is every need for a human to test those the thing that the AI has built, because at the end of the day, it's still a human being that. Because at the end of the day, it's still a human being that will use that particular software that has been developed. So moving forward, mindset. Like I said, AI is not the god of technology. AI is a collaborator, not an oracle. You understand? Now, many people treat AI like an oracle rather than treat AI like a collaborator. Treat the AI like a capable junior developer. Give it clear direction, review its work, and iterate together rather than expecting a perfect answer on the first try. So you look at the AI tools with the mindset of, okay, this is a capable junior developer. I am above it. I am giving it the directions. I am giving it the instructions. I am reviewing its work, and we are iterating together to make it to make the project better, rather than expecting it to give a perfect answer on the first try. So how do you do this? You describe and explain the goal clearly with any constraints. So whatever constraints you might think of, also explain it clearly to the AI. Now after that, you review, read what it's produced, don't paste it blindly. Now this is for the chat aspect. So for the software aspect of it, you review what it has produced, you test it if it's actually working, if it's actually accurate. So you don't go ahead to um deploy blindly and cause problem for your project, or copy and paste blindly without knowing what was actually produced. Now you iterate, ask follow up questions to refine and fix or extend the the workflow of the AI. Now this is the hands-on section. Let's get set up. Now we are going to set up our AI. Before class 2, I'm expecting everyone following up this video and the channel. So if you have not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Before class 2, I expect everyone to create a free account with each of these, because we are going to be needing them. We are going to be using them. First of all, you can create up a free account if you don't have it on a chat-based AI, Claude AI or ChatGPT. Most people should be signed up on ChatGPT already. So Claude Code for exploring ideas and generating code. So we are going to use it to explore ideas and generating code. So if you have ideas you would want us to explore in the next class, you can drop those ideas in the comment section so that we can explore them together and work on the ideas, each of them. So the next one is a code editor. So get Visual Studio Code is free and works on any operating system. If you are using a Mac OS, a Linux, an Ubuntu, or even a Windows PC. So Visual Studio Code works on any PC. Now the next one, you need to create a GitHub account. Is also free. We will use it to save and track our projects. You will use it to save your project. Also create an account with an AI coding tool like Claude Code or GitHub Copilot. I would say create with ChatGPT. We are going to use ChatGPT Codex because it gives free credits, and this should be free account, so you don't spend so much money while you're still learning. You don't spend money on credits while you're still learning. So go for ChatGPT Codex. Go for ChatGPT Codex. Please note, they didn't sponsor this video at all, so it's just my personal recommendation. So set up the account. On the next class, we'll be exploring ideas. So if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe, like the video, and also share the video and drop your ideas in the comment section. We will be exploring those ideas and generating codes based on those ideas. If you have a project you would want us to start, so also do that. Also create an account on Lovable so that we can also create one web-based application in our next class. See you in the next class. We'll be thinking like a developer in class 2 without being one yet. So see you in the next class. So the homework here is basically to create accounts for all the tools I've mentioned. So you're going to create accounts on all the tools you have mentioned. See you in the next class. Thank you very much for following. And if you've watched to this up to this time, like, share, and subscribe to the channel.